Hello everyone. Today I'll be speaking to you all about the three most important skills required to become a successful salesperson. Right? Anybody who is interested in sales or actually pursuing a current career in sales or have a sales profile, all of you all can relate to this. And I hope this video really helps you all because I personally have had a sales stint which was very successful for me, and I think I would like to share those tips with you all and see if that sort of helps you guys, and yeah, I'll be happy. Let's talk about sales, right? In sales, unless you don't close that sale, um, it's not counted, right? You can be an excellent speaker, you can be somebody who has a very, you're very good at scripts and you're very good at execution, but unless you close that sale, nothing's counted. You're still not called a good salesperson. So if you close that sale for me and if you hit your targets, that's when I can call you a good salesperson, right? Otherwise, nothing, right? It's all boils down to your numbers. So sales is all about numbers. Until and unless you don't do that, you're not a good salesperson. You may have the most excellent communication skills, but still it does not help you in any way, right? This closing of the sales can happen anyhow, right? You can probably, it happens differently in different sectors in different companies. So I might just give a presentation to my client, and end of it, expect a closing of probably closing that deal or making that one sale of that particular product or the service I'm providing. It could be over phone. You have the telesales which happens. It could be on one-on-one meetings. It could be through a demo. In my company where I used to work, I was in the pharma sector, so it used to be through actually giving demos to your customers, right? So it happens differently. You have cold calls, you have different kinds of sales, right? Different ways of actually selling your product. So in all of these ways, at the end of it, you have to make sure that your whole purpose before starting that call has to be that, what I'm getting out of this room, closing this sale, right? Closing this particular sale. So that has to always be in your head. So let's start talking about the skills, the three most important skills for me, which are most important to be an excellent salesperson. So for number one is empathizing with your customers, right? Empathizing with your clients. It's very important to connect with your customers, right? If it's a low ticket size product, I don't really think it matters more, like sort of building relationship, because you don't really need to put in a lot of efforts if it's a low ticket size. But if you're selling a high ticket size product, it's very important to understand that customer of yours. It's very important to build that rapport, that relationship, right? So when I first meet a customer, I'm new to this job and it's my first sales call, I'm not going to sell my product, or in the first 2-3 calls, or the first 2-3 meetings, I'm going to sort of build my relationship, introduce myself, understand my customer, sort of what he or she likes, the way he addresses his customers. It's very important to, if he's not the end user, the way he, or if he's the end user, sort of understand the behavioral pattern of your customer. Then you sort of slowly build relationship with that person, connect to that person. It's different how you would connect to that person, and it depends a lot on your observation skills, right? So I was in the pharma sector, so I remember that I've worked in the pharma sector and in the edtech sector in sales. So in the pharmaceutical sector, it's important, like when you're meeting doctors, right? High end doctors. We had a very high ticket size product. it's very important to understand your customer. So if I see that my customer is very emotional, like he's very patient centric, so you sort of connect to him emotionally, right? And then you know sort of build your product, how your product can help your customers in a very emotional manner, how you know sort of empathize with that person, that I completely understand what you're going to, what you're looking at, and here is how my product can help your customer. And then you deal with that person very emotionally, he's very patient centric. If you see that your customer is very like commercial, you know, he's very like a commercial person, you connect to him that way, right? You talk about the commercial perspectives, what arrangements can be done, sort of, you know, a different approach for a different person, right? It's very different how different people function, right? Everybody, we all don't function in a certain manner, right? So it's very important to understand what the other person likes, and sort of address that and build relationship upon that, right? Now if somebody doesn't read books, right, somebody is a movie buff, you go and talk to that person about, like, you know, something else, you go and talk to that person about books, that person will not relate to you, he'll sort of think that we don't have similarities, and there's a sort of disconnect. So you if you really want to be a good salesperson, you have to understand your customers, their likes, their dislikes, and, you know, build a conversation on that. That's the most important thing to do as a salesperson. You have to understand that person and slowly build a rapport, a relationship, right? Maybe sometimes, so when you build that rapport, that's when you understand what that person really needs, what is he looking at, right, in the product, and then you address that, right? Suppose I have a product, maybe my product has certain benefits, certain features, but then what he's looking at is something very different, right? I won't force my product in selling my product. So I would, if I'm a good salesperson, I would rather tell my customer that, you know what, I think the other product, it's there in the market, and maybe you should go check that out. That completely addresses the things what you're looking at, your concerns, the features what you're looking at. That would, you know, actually address everything what you're looking at. And maybe that I would, you know, give that suggestion to that person, so that sort of like really creates a good rapport, because in a way you're being very honest, which sort of that person starts trusting you. They're like, you know, this person is just not like any other salesperson, he's not selling, come here to sell things, right? That impression, if you give that I've come here to sell things, that's the most wrong impression, though you are literally coming to actually sell your product. But then don't give that impression, that's not how you will stand out in the market, right? And then it's very important to be different. So you sort of say that, recommend somebody else's product if you think that's better suited for your customers needs. He'll be very happy with you, he'll be very impressed, and he would also know about your product feature benefits. So next time he will come back to you, when, you know, whenever he thinks about something which your product will address, something where your product becomes very helpful for that particular person, or maybe the end consumer, he would definitely come back to you and take, you know, buy that product from you. So for that, it's very important to build relationships, right? I personally always believe that this is the most important thing, because even when you're out of sales, maybe after 2-3 years also, people still remember you, like, okay, fine, she was really good, she just was not focusing on, you know, just you know, the numbers, but she also made an effort to actually build a relationship with me. So and even today I'm very proud to say that I'm in touch with my with those customers, and they really liked the effort which you take to build a relationship, right? That's how you stand out from somebody else, and they'll always point it out also. Even if somebody else, they'll always be like, they'll give your reference, like, you know, this person was really good from your company. So that feeling is something very different, right? So first thing is empathize with your customers. Now second thing is, what I feel is, uncover the challenges, right? So when you talk to your customer, right, I keep telling you, just keep asking them questions. Whatever script your company gives you or you're trained in, don't go there and vomit it out, okay? Because that really doesn't help. Because as a customer, there are hundreds and thousands of companies, there are brands which have the same solutions, but and being a customer, I'm hearing like so many people talking, I see on the TV, I see everywhere in the market. So for me, you're nothing different, right? You understand my pain point, okay? As a customer, as a salesperson, you have to understand what's your customer's pain point, right? What's my problem, what's my lookout, so if I'm buying a detergent, for me it's just not the cleanliness of the clothes that the detergent has to remove the dirt. For me, it's all about the fragrance. For me, fragrance can be a more important thing, right? I like I like my clothes smelling good. So when you talk to me, you also have to address that concern rather than just talking about something else, right? So that's when you understand what's my pain point, and you discover that, right? You try and diagnose the problem, try and diagnose my problem, what's my problem, and then you sort of give solutions to my pain points. So that way, what you're doing is you're addressing the requirements. So there is a gap, okay, in every sales call. There is a gap. You have certain things to talk about your product, you have certain features and benefits, that's you. And then there's your customer who's having some other concerns, like he has some other requirements, right? He has some requirements, and you have your product, right? Your main job is to identify what is his concern, what is he looking at this product, and then you have to answer how your product is going to address that problem, not just generally talking about the features. Okay, you don't have to just keep blabbering whatever you've mugged up. You have to address the real problems what the customer is facing, and then when you give the solutions, now they'll be like, oh my god, this product exactly answers all the requirements I'm looking at. And he'll be like, I should give it a try. And then they will definitely try your product, and if it's good, they would also recommend it to others, right? And as all of you all know, this word of mouth marketing is beyond anything else, right? That's great. So even like it's applicable for movies you watch as well, right? So sometimes you have like horrible movies having such good ratings, 4 5 and everything, and then you actually go by the ratings and you go and watch the movie, and then it turns out to be terrible and disgusting, and you're like, go and where do I hit myself, right? So instead of that, if somebody tells you, if your own brother or sister has told you, like, you know what, I just watched this movie yesterday and it's really good, and then you sort of connect to it and like, okay, really, let me like watch it, and then you see a couple of you go there, you watch it yourself when somebody has told you, and you do that, and then you're like, yeah, it's a good movie, it sort of really helps you, right? You don't do that extra effort of going through something which is not real and something which is very misleading, right? So it's very important to uncover the challenges what your customer faces. Okay, that's the second point. First point was empathizing with your customer. Second point was uncovering the challenges. Okay, let's go to the third point. Third point is ability to handle objections, right? That's the most important point, and it plays a very crucial role. It can either make or break the sale, right? So what happens, okay, a very good point I would like to make here is what happens is sometimes when they teach you during your training period, they teach you how to make good sales. That's when they give you like a certain script which you have to follow, and then most people, I think 90% people, they just look at that script, they try to, okay, these are the points, I have to start like this, I have to go like this, I have to end like this, and then they do that. Okay, so when they actually enter a live real call, so they actually end up doing that, and then the customer's like, oh my god, it's the same thing, it's the same shit happening. So that really doesn't help, right? So use the script, you have the script, but don't prepare too much, okay? Don't go by the script, don't use that script. Keep those points in mind, and just use it as and when the call, however the call goes. So because if you have that, if you mugged up a script and you try to vomit that out, so you don't know what your customer can come up with, a very very out of nowhere, some other objection itself. How would you handle that? You will be like, point blank, you won't know how to answer that. So it's very important to not prepare too much, right? It sort of destroys everything, right? It's You have to understand what are the points required, understand what the objections can come, listen to your customer, right? Let him say what, how he's objecting that, and then you answer it carefully. In case you he's saying something and that objection is valid, and you feel that, okay, fine, maybe my product can't address that, and you'll be like, hey, you know what, thank you so much, I mean, it's a great point you've raised, but I think you don't use but. It's a great point you've raised, and I'm sure I'll come back to you with a solution with this. Let me talk to my authorities, and then I'll come back to you. Be very gentle. Don't get aggressive when they start like objecting. You'll be like, no, 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 my, if they're saying no, your product has a fault, you'll be like, no, 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 my product is very good. No, it is the best. It is the best. It has high quality, like high quality, everything is high quality, nobody sells low quality products, right? You can't really justify it like that. So it's very important to make valid points, right? Even if it's objections, handle it very gracefully, very nicely, so that the other person is not hurt in any way and doesn't feel that you're getting very aggressive in selling your product. Okay, very subtly you have to try and make your points and make the other person realize that, okay, fine, your product is great, right? And as I said in the beginning of the video, your whole, whenever you enter a room, you have to have that mindset that I have to close the sale, and that's when you can do it. If you do not have that, you don't really sell your product. It's not rocket science, it's really simple. You have to sort of be yourself, let it naturally flow in your conversation. When I say too naturally, doesn't mean you don't prepare. You have to prepare, but don't prepare too much. Just know, learn, have very good knowledge about your product, and the rest of it just flows, right? So yeah, that's how you will be able to handle objections and able to close that particular call very gracefully, right? So these are the three main skills which are required as a good salesperson. I hope and really wish you guys apply this to your sales call, and I'm sure you can share your experiences with me, and I'm sure it'll do wonders for you all, as it did for me. So I think it would really help most people. So yeah, that's all for today. If you like my video, please like that, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna like create more of such informative content videos and share it with you all. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you and have a nice day.